Thanks, Reverend. Thanks, everybody. I sense the energy in the room is rising. I'm here to talk a little bit about energy, but in the context of Labour struggles. I see three tasks in front of the Labour community, both here and internationally. The first is we need an independent voice on energy, climate, and environment. One that's not tied to the vision of the industries, including the renewables energy industries, or the big environmental groups, many of whom are quite agnostic on the question of worker issues. So we need an independent voice. The second thing we need is we need to turn voice into vision. It's no point saying all the time what the problems are. This is really important. We're inspired by these struggles of resistance. But we need to show how we can reach the targets that were established in Paris, and I mean the science-based targets, not the commitments made by the countries, because they're two very different things. We need to be able to turn that vision into the kind of program that can actually get the job done. All over the world, we got scientists and engineers saying, oh, we can do this. In 25 years, we could be 100% renewable power. Why is it not happening? Yes, it's the fossil fuel companies standing in the way. It's also the dynamics of growth, profit, and consumption that run through the global economy. But also, and I think Michelle's going to deal with this, it's the belief that fossil fuels, or rather renewable energy, has to compete on an even playing field with fossil fuels. We have to throw that idea out of the window. If the future of human civilization and all life on Earth depends on whether renewable energy is 8 cents a kilowatt hour or 10 cents a kilowatt hour, that is not an acceptable proposition, and we're not going to put up with it. I'm from the land of Jeremy Corbyn. Jeremy Corbyn actually was born 12 miles from where I live. He was born in a small town named Chippenham. Now, I'll just use this as an illustration. 2 years ago, the idea of public ownership, of renationalising energy, was completely on the margins of the political debate in Britain, even among the trade unions. The unions got together and they decided they were going to push the Labour Party to support a programme of reclaiming the energy sector, which was popular amongst the British public. Privatisation had been a disaster. Those unions, with Unions for Energy Democracy, we went and met with the Labour Party just a few months ago and said, put this in the manifesto. And yes, it was in the manifesto to break up the big six cartel energy companies, to have 200 green cities pushing public renewable power. So, the message is, we can have an effect. What happened in Britain this past few days was such an earthquake in politics. I can't begin to describe it. But the most important, I think, part of it is the programmatic changes, the commitments that were made, which resonated with people as good ideas. And having a party, and this is happening all over the world now, of turning that vision of resistance and that getting past no to yes, turning it into strong commitments. That's a role that the Labour movement in particular can play. At the state and local level, which is where we're fighting now, there's a lot to be done, but I would caution against one or two things. First of all, it's not just about getting your state legislature to adopt a target. This is the fetish of targets. Oh, we need 50% renewables by such and such a date. Without asking the question, who will do the work? Who will do the investment? Who will own the generation capacity? Because a target that fails to answer those questions plays into the hands of the conservative forces and will not create the jobs that the green transition promises. So public renewable power, public investment, let's all rally behind it. If you're in a union, get involved, get active. UnionsforEnergyDemocracy.org. Please come up and talk to us afterwards. And kudos to the nurses for the work they've done in this field over recent years. They've been highly courageous, as well as other labor unions as well. Thank you.